Wes, what do you kind of see your role on game day being? Kevin was talking yesterday, you spent some time on the sideline in the preseason and some upstairs. How do you what do you think you'll be looking for, and what do ways will you try to help Kevin in that whole thing?
Well, I would think, my role as far as being in the booth is not going to be a lot different from really what it's been throughout my career. Just being upstairs is a place where we felt like, Kevin and I had kind of have that relationship going back where I was in the booth. I've spent time on the sideline and in the booth everywhere I've been. But when I've been with Kevin, I've always been in the booth and kind of having that voice coming from up top. Sometimes you get just a better vantage point, and you're able to, get on the surface between series and kind of study it a little more as opposed to kind of standing there and trying to get the pictures and all that. You get a chance to really kind of have your spot, sit down, really study the pictures and kind of give suggestions as far as whether it be run game, pass game, things that we might be able to exploit or tendencies we're seeing.
Is it fun after the preseason? You have all these vanilla schemes to finally see the full firepower, I guess, of this offense and all the weapons you have.
Well, I hope we see some firepower. Yeah, but it is fun. I think everyone, players included, was ready to just really start narrowing down a plan and start scheming and really trying to game plan, for a specific defense. I know it's, we worry sometimes about the volume in a game plan, try not to overload these guys, but for these guys at this point, they basically had just about everything available that could be called when you're at the end of training camp. All your installs are in. Basically, your whole playbook is open. So this is actually kind of a relief for a lot of those guys. There'll be some specific things and tweaks, to the ways that we might call some of the plays or tag certain guys. But overall, I think they're saying, okay, this is much easier than kind of the end of camp where, you're running a call-it period and anything can be dialed up at any time through the entire playbook.
Wes, what are your thoughts on that defense? It's Kevin talked about it being similar, but they seem to have hit on a lot of number one picks and just the strength of that defense.
Well, they've got a lot of strengths. They've got pass rush. Preston Smith is a guy that I was with in Washington, who's really progressed and become a really good pass rusher. Rashawn Gary has really come along when he got to play last year when Zadarius was out and got all those reps. And he's a force on the edge. Kenny Clark's an excellent rusher and can play the run as well. And then their cover guys. They've got safeties. Savage has got a ton of range in the post. Amos has been a good player for a long time, and of course, Stokes and Alexander being back. I mean, they've got really good players across the board, and Rasul Douglas, who came in, mid-season. I think he had 5 interceptions, and I don't know how many for touchdowns, but had one for a touchdown against the Rams when we were there. So. He came in and played really well for them. So they've really got a lot of good tools, and Joe B does a great job of putting them in good positions to make plays.
What do you expect when you see a rookie right in the middle of that defense? Expecting big things from Walker.
Well, yeah, I think it kind of goes both ways. I think anytime you're playing a rookie who's that talented, you're going to see some things where you really love it, and I'm sure there's going to be some things that he just hasn't seen yet, just with experience, that he'll continue to improve. But he's a great athlete. He can run and hit. He's physical, and he can cover as well. So, not a lot of weaknesses as far as the athlete. We're kind of going to have to see as well, what kind of player he's truly going to be. But we expect, both of those linebackers to be really good players inside. Devondre Campbell's been a really good player. I think he was All-Pro last year, but going back to playing him when he was in Atlanta, always had a lot of respect for him.
Do you throw extra misdirection at a rookie like that, but with you guys having all the misdirection stuff that you use, just to see where his eyes go and what he does?
Yeah, I think in general, just philosophically, you see some of those across the league. It's really picked up the fly motions, guys moving across the ball after the snap, whether it be run game, pass game, and a lot of that is designed to, if you're playing a zone defense and you've got the A gap, and now someone crosses the ball and creates another man to that surface. Well, now I've got the next available gap, as opposed to lining up static and just running a run play or a pass play. Now I'm forcing them to change on the move right before the snap. So I think that's something, that can create just a little bit of consternation, and whether it affects a rookie more than a veteran remains to be seen with Quay, but that's something that we think is valuable just in general.
Wes, as you embark on the first game of the season, have you seen a change for you personally in a Kirk Cousins that you first met at the beginning of training camp to now? And is there anything that maybe you thought of him beforehand that has been dispelled in this time?
Well, I think the change from the beginning of training camp or the beginning of the offseason until now is just, his level of mastery of the offense. There's certain concepts that any quarterback has experience with and who's played as much as he has, and there was some carryover in some of those types of things, but then there's some new wrinkles that we add, with our system that early on, he just needed more reps at. He needed to see it. He needed to understand the way that we were coaching it and the way that we were reading some of these plays and how the footwork tied to that. And, we feel really good about his progression and, feel like he's going to play really well.
Wes, going off of that, what's your sense on his willingness to be more aggressive? I know he's talked a lot about taking care of the football, and obviously that's important. But Kevin said yesterday he wants him to let it rip. Has he grown in that area, do you think, since you first met him?
Well, yeah, I think being aggressive kind of ties to hopefully, our influence as well on the plays we're calling. If you're calling plays where there are shots available and you get it dialed up at the right time versus the right coverages, yeah, we want him to let it rip. But the quarterback's also got to make us right sometimes. You're not always going to call the perfect play, or you're not going to get the deep shot that maybe you called, and he's got to check it down, put the ball in play, and keep us on track. So he's always done a really, really nice job of protecting the football, and that's something obviously we all value. So, he's just going to play his game, and I think the combination of, his understanding of this game plan and, our ability to kind of get the calls in at the right time and the chess match that we're playing with Joe Barry in combination with him playing the position the right way, which is protecting the football. And when we do get that opportunity to take the shot, then, like you said, let it rip.
From a numbers perspective, Kirk has been year after year one of the best throwing it over 20 yards in the air. What do you think makes him so effective as a deep passer?
He's very accurate. Kirk is a very pure passer. He's one of the more accurate quarterbacks in this league, and there's a lot of talk about Kirk Cousins. Here or there, some people, hey, I don't know why. People say this or that. Whether it's good or bad. On either side of it, but Kirk's been a very productive starting quarterback in this league, and I don't think anyone can really deny that. Winning ball games is about the team. There's a lot of things and a lot of factors that go into that, but we're really happy Kirk's our quarterback, and we feel like he's going to play at a high level.
Last couple for Coach.
Wes, how much does having Irv Smith healthy enhance what you guys can do on Sunday?
Having Irv, just seeing him out there on the practice field just creates more juice for the offense. You notice the difference when Irv is out there and running routes and just his explosiveness, his ability to kind of separate contact at the top of the route. He's strong through contact. Just a more powerful guy than I knew before I came in here. You know, he's got a powerful frame to him, and he can run. So, you know, I'm just looking forward to him finally. You know, it's been a journey for him, and I know he's ready to go.
Coach, you've obviously seen them all the way through training camp. When you have a pair of pass rushers like Daniil and Zadarius for an offense, how much does that, I guess, just change or limit what you're able to do when you can't just focus on one guy?
It makes it a lot more difficult. I mean, especially you know, their ability to kind of play different spots and move around, and you know, you don't always know where they're at. I mean, there are some rushers where, you know, hey, he's going to be on the open side, and we can kind of count on where he's at and have a plan for that. Whereas you've got two edge guys, always makes it much more difficult. Are you chipping both sides? Are you, you know, and how does that affect you know, the rest of their pressure package? I mean, they can also bring other people. They can use guys like those guys to get the protection, to slide a certain way, and get other guys opportunities to get free as well. But those guys have been phenomenal. Seeing Daniil as a stand-up player and actually just seeing that presence out there, that length and that athletic ability, I think people are really, not that they haven't recognized what a player he is, but I think, you know, with his ability to kind of play on the edge as a stand-up player, people are going to really feel him this year, and I'm excited about it.
Thanks, everyone.